Well, I'm back for round two. And so I'm going to share with you my stone fruit and my fruit orchard here in my suburban edible landscape. And so if you have any questions, go ahead and post them below and ask away, just ask me anything. And in regards to the garden, and hopefully I can entertain your question. Let's get started. So right off the bat here, you could see all of the luscious growth. But I want to go back over to where the citrus are because there's a large tree over there I want to introduce you folks to. But first, we've got to make our way through this, well, call it a edible jungle, because that's literally what it is. And we're gonna come around right here, and you could see that this tree is in a wooden box elevated above ground level. Once again, I emphasize it's great for drainage, hence the reason why my trees grow so large so fast. That's one of the little secrets. But this tree here is my apricot tree. It's my sun gold apricot. Absolutely spectacular. And it's a beautiful tree. You can see how wide it is. And I let this tree grow to its full potential simply because it's good for the shade, it's good for other plants, and things of that nature. So now that we've seen this tree, let's get a little closer here. And you can see how large that trunk is. It's pretty thick. And of course, while you're looking at it, you can see right next to it, there's my Tangelo citrus because it's going to get that required shade. Remember, overstorage, understory trees. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our way over here and we'll talk about that side. So before I talk about the rest of the stone fruit, I'm going to introduce this side for you. So let's go ahead and make our way through here. Right off the bat, you find my Cadota fig being grown in a 40-gallon container. And it's a beautiful fig and it's doing quite well. And once again, we look at the trunk size. And figs are relatively easy to grow. You've just got to grow what's allowed in your zone. And we're going to make our way through here. And there's 2 blueberry bushes in each container. These are 40-gallon containers. And there's 2 blueberry bushes. I suggest you don't put any more than that because high bush, they get tall. And I mean tall, and whatnot. Learn how to recognize the difference between first-year cane, second-year canes, and 3-year canes. And that way you don't go cutting canes that's going to produce blueberries for you the following year. Now, these are all on drip irrigation, as you see. Okay? And right to the left of it, right underneath this stone fruit tree here is my short bush. Short bush does not do well in the Sacramento Valley, but I've managed to overcome that with a lot of experimentation. You can see this thing is loaded with blueberries. Let me get a little closer so you folks can understand. There we go. Loaded with blueberries. Okay, so it does relatively good here. Okay, provided you keep the pH right where it needs to be. And I do that with soil sulfur. Okay, we have a rose over to the right, and we have a loquat given to me by a dear young man named T.P. Smith. This is going to go into my ground, actually. We have another blueberry bush here. You can see, taller than the fence, 6 foot tall. And we have a strawberry guava being grown right here in a 40-gallon container. Okay, And we have another blueberry over here. Remember, 2 blueberry bushes in each one. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 blueberry bushes. Here's my guava. And it's a beautiful guava. They really don't like the cold. And it's not the ideal place to grow them here. And here's my mission fig in a 40-gallon container. And I just want to reiterate, this is my compost. I compost out of 45-gallon brute garbage cans from Home Depot. And I also add a drip, and it's on a timer so I can get water to the compost, and I turn it every other week. But nevertheless, here is my pomegranate. And this one is actually going to come out of the 40-gallon container, and I'm going to be placing it in the ground over yonder. Right ahead is my almond tree, and you can see how big and beautiful it is. The squirrels been having a ball. I finally got squirrels in my backyard. Yeah, if you grow it, they will come. And I let them go at it for the nuts, the blue jays, and everybody else. I'm not worried about almonds. I rather the animals come here because they've been very inviting. They feel safe here. I can walk right past them. They won't run from me, but I don't go near them. I don't want them near me. One of them climbed on my shoulder one day, and I literally freaked out, not because I was afraid of it, but because you got the bird flu and all these other things that are going around, and you never know when animals can pass this on. This is my Eva's Pride peach. It's been here for about a month now. So it's my newest tree to the actual garden. Okay. And over here is my my Stella cherry, being grown in the ground in a wooden box, open to the ground. And cherries can take 4 to 5 years before they really give you some adequate fruit. But it's a healthy tree, very nice tree. And coming through here, we have my Bing cherry. Bing cherries need a pollinator, and Stella and quite a few others are pollinators for the Bing cherry. And it's a beautiful tree. I never seen a cherry not even show up on here, but you know, it will eventually as it gets mature. Cherry trees, they just take a little bit longer. But let's go over here and check out the Santa Rosa plum and the Satsuma plum. So right off the bat, you see the Satsuma plum. There's a ton of plums on this tree, and they're literally all over this tree. In fact, some of the branches are hanging to the ground now, and I gotta get in here and thin them. You can see all of that. Just loaded. So let's get up in here. Like I say, it's loaded. Everywhere you look on this tree, there's tons and tons of plums from the bottom to the top. As you can see how tall they are. Of course, it's being grown in the ground right here. But let's move on over to the Santa Rosa. Again, this is the Satsuma. This is the Santa Rosa. It's been grown in the ground, and it's loaded with plums. Loaded, loaded, loaded with plums. All praise and glory goes to the Father. Hallelujah. The plums are, at least they seem bigger on this tree. And again, this plum tree, the Santa Rosa, loves to grow straight up. Straight up. So if you want to keep it short, you better cut it in the beginning stages. Cut it 24 to 36 inches above soil when you first plant it. Now, there's been some research that that's not necessary, but what I did with the Satsuma, I actually, in this first year, I actually cut it. There's the cut right there. You see that cut? There it is right there. 36 inches above soil. All that energy went right there. But anywho, This tree is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous tree. But look at the fruit, it's loaded. Oh, now you folks see why I always took my fruit off since I've been on YouTube, because you want the energy to go to the roots. Okay? I've taught you folks this for years. All right? And this is important. Get rid of your ego in the garden and learn patience. And remember, patience is one of the fruits of the spirits. Galatians 5:22 and 23. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. So although my trees are grown in the ground, because they're in wooden boxes, I still add 4 to 6 inches of compost every year. And along with food scraps, such as bananas, green leafy vegetables, avocado peels, anything without seeds. Of course, with my compost, sometimes there's dormant seeds, and you're going to get a surprise. I'm going to share that with you in the next video, and you're going to get a surprise with what's growing as a companion plant. I didn't do it. With, well, my clementine mandarin. I'll give you that much. Stay tuned for that video. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below. I remind you again, this garden was planted in 2020. I'm going to put up the video so you can see it. And within 3 months, my garden went from 2020 of May to 2020 of June or July. The trees had already started blossoming big. We fast forward to this year. Less than 2 years, this July through August would mark 2 years that this garden been here, and it's already huge and producing. And although I'm not producing peaches and a lot of apricots and cherries and pomegranates right now, they just take a little bit longer. And when it comes to plums, plums have a tendency of putting out a lot of fruit. It will even do it if you have a trunk that little. But I advise you, sacrifice it. Sacrifice it. Okay? At least for the first year, sacrifice it. If you do that with a plum tree, you'll get the increase. Shalom.